Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Kara Joseph, and I am the Training Programs Manager here at Creative Manitoba. We're very excited to be bringing you this program in partnership with Arts Accessibility Network Manitoba. Creative Manitoba and Arts Accessibility Network Manitoba are based on Treaty 1 territory on the original lands of the Anishinaabe, Cree, Ojibwe, Dakota, and Dene peoples, and the national homeland of the Red River Métis. As we come together to create and learn, we want to acknowledge and pay respect to the treaties that were made here and honor the original caretakers of this land. So I invite you to join us in considering the histories of colonialism, dispossession, and resistance as we dedicate ourselves to moving forward and creating in the spirit of reconciliation. Thank you so much for joining us today, and I'm very excited to welcome Lindsay Fisher to be our workshop leader. Lindsay Fisher is a creative and designer who is passionate about building community spaces that impact lives in positive ways. Her vision for Creative Connector is informed by her own experience of being told that her own disability needed to be hidden or fixed. When she discovered a community of artists with similar experiences challenging this narrative in their work, she became motivated to amplify this community and create opportunities for more people with disabilities to be creative and celebrate difference. Welcome, Lindsay. I'll let you take it away.
Thank you so much, Kara. I forgot that was my bio. I feel like you just gave about a corner of my presentation away. So thank you for that. Maybe I'll just very briefly describe myself visually. I'm Lindsay Fisher. I'm a white female presenting person with dark cropped hair, kind of black, kind of gray. I have a facial difference. I was born deaf and I have a deaf sounding voice. And I'm also missing an ear, and I wear a bone anchored hearing device, which is kind of like a cochlear implant, but different. And we don't have enough time for me to explain how it's different. So, and this is not what the presentation is about. My pronouns are she and her. And I'm currently sitting in the Kahnawake area, otherwise known as Kingston, Ontario. And we are sitting on the original land of the Anishinaabe, the Haudenosaunee, and the Wendat people. I am super excited to be here, a little nervous as always, I won't lie. I want to thank Janelle. I think Janelle, you're here. And I also want to thank Kara from Creative Manitoba for inviting me. I feel like I've been reading about Creative Manitoba for a while and really admire your work. So thrilled that we're here working together. And I feel like this is a really cool chance for me to connect with folks outside of Ontario. And, you know, I think Ontario, we think sometimes we're the center of the earth, but we're not. And so I'm really excited to connect with people who are here, like from all over. And I'm really looking forward to sharing what we do at Creative Connector. I'm going to talk today about my own background a little bit, although Kara just gave away some of it, but also just a bit about why I'm here and why I started Creative Connector. I'll talk a bit, after that, I'll talk about Creative Connector, what kinds of services we have. I'm hoping the people that you're here because you want to know about Creative Connector and you want to know if it's something that you might want to get involved in. So hopefully I'll be able to answer some of your questions. I'm going to share some slides. So I'm going to try to remember to describe as much as I can. If I forget, please maybe do a little nudge in the chat or a little hands up to remind me to do that. Sometimes I forget. So, so maybe I'm gonna start by opening the slide, share my screen, our little sexy slide of Creative Connector logo, which is pretty simple. It just says Creative Connector with a dot at the end. And how do there we go. So I wanted to, so when Janelle first reached out to me and invited me to do this presentation, I was really curious about the title Creative Access, because A, it's an awesome title, and B, I think I was thinking that it really has a different meaning, I think, for each of us. And I thought that it would help to start the presentation to share what it means to me as a way to share a bit about, you know, what access is to me. Also, I would, I don't know if it's accessible to you, I would encourage you or invite you to put what creative access means to you in the chat while I'm talking, because I know that these kinds of presentations can get a little bit, I don't know, tedious when you're just being talked at. And for the sake of just creating a sense of the many people being here and engaging, please share your thoughts and your stories in the chat. So one is creative access. I think for me, what it really feels like to me, it speaks to me about how art plays a role in my life. Might not be your life, but in my life, it really plays a role in helping me to access who I want to be as a disabled person in a world that really stigmatizes disability. So, for example, I grew up, as probably many of you have, believing that I needed to be fixed, or I needed to deny, or I needed to hide or erase my disability. And I was being taught that through school, through my family, through my doctors. And this belief was really came from this thinking, this mindset that we needed to fix my disability in order to belong in the world, and even just to access the same opportunities as everyone else. And I think that the only place, as I grew up, the only place I really ever felt free to access that side of my identity was through art and through being creative. So when I moved to Toronto in my early 20s, as Kara said, I found this disability community. And through that community, I discovered that actually disability is visible, it does belong in the world, and it's even beautiful. So I think connecting to this community was huge for me. It was transformative in that it helped me, the people in this community helped me build the confidence that I needed to be, just to be me. And that's all of me, including my disability. And so I think that creative access describes that space where art and disability community converge, and how that space is where I found those tools to help me, and continues to help me develop my voice and develop my confidence. So what I want to do next again, because I really want to hear from you. I want you who's here. I have like multiple windows open. Where are we? Okay. So I want you who are here. I can't see you right now, but I'm hoping that you feel comfortable to share in the chat, to think about a moment in your life when you felt like you really connected to a person or to a community. So just think about that moment. And if you could just put one word in the chat that describes that feeling. And I can just take a moment. And if a chat box is not accessible to you, please put your hand up, and I'll invite Kara to help maybe unmute you so you can share.
Absolutely.
So yeah, Janelle says home. That's my word, Janelle. You took my word. Ainsley says held, found, freedom. It's beautiful. Seen. Yes, seen. That's a big one. Amazing. Thank you. And if you think of more validated, yeah, keep adding them if you think of them. Because I think that these words that you're saying really encompass like what inspired me to start Creative Connector. So understanding, at least from my own experience, from my own life, how hard it is at times to just be ourselves, right? And to access these connections that simply make us feel seen or validated or free or found or home, feel like we're at home. And that the word home is exactly my word. It's exactly how I felt for the first time when I met the community. It was like I felt like I was at home. So comfortable. Yeah. And that's what home feels like, right? It feels comfortable. So thank you. Yeah, thank you so much for that. So this kind of gives you hopefully a little bit of an explanation as to where Creative Connector came from, right? The passion and the emotion that really Creative Connector is rooted in, right? So what is it? What is Creative Connector? And maybe that's why we're here. So Creative Connector today, how we describe ourselves is we are a national online member-based arts hub for creatives with disabilities or artists with disabilities to find community and discover accessible opportunities in the arts. So that's kind of what we are in I guess what you call an elevator pitch or a nutshell. That's essentially the nugget of what we are. So what does that look like? What does an online hub look like? And as with many things in the world that exist today, in a digital culture, it exists on the face of it, it exists on a website, right? So you can go to creativeconnector.art and you'll see, a first impression of what we are. In general, the structure of the hub is currently today made up of 310 members of Creative Connector and 164 subscribers who are all actively using our services. And to become a member, then really the first step really is just to go to the website and sign up. And I'm going to share a bit about later about where you can do that and what does that look like. So why would you become a member of Creative Connector? Well, what we're really excited about as a service is uh, getting to our members regular updates on a weekly basis, regular updates about accessible events and opportunities all across Canada, um, as well as the ability to find disability community. We also have a members private Slack space. So this is where, as members, you can log into Slack and chat with other members. And then also, as a member, you get access to our programs and workshops. So as an example, and I just realized that I have not been describing images. So maybe I will go back. So you'll see on a previous screen, I showed a screenshot of the website. And on the website, it says Discover Accessible Arts and Culture. And I'm showing a mobile image and a mobile screenshot here. So it says Discover Accessible Arts and Culture, your go-to source for accessible opportunities and disability arts community. And there's a giant green button that says subscribe. And under that is a beautiful image graphic illustration of a female presenting person, white person with wearing a t-shirt that says the future is accessible, and they're sitting in a wheelchair with a pair of crutches, and they look very badass because they have like black frame glasses and they're wearing black lipstick. And they're holding a pen or some kind of creative utensil. So, as an example of how we get people information about opportunities, on the screen you see a mobile screenshot of an opportunities listing that we send out every 2 weeks. So this is what we do. Basically, a lot of our time is spent researching accessible events and opportunities all across the country. And we put it all in a list, and we send it to you every second Friday. Every Friday we do an events listing Friday, weekly, bi-weekly, and then an opportunities listing on the opposite Friday. So it's every Friday. And basically it's a culmination of all of the research that we've done so that you don't have to do that research. And then another example is our artist directory. So this is the artist directory really is meant to help our members be discovered. So one thing that we were finding is that I get asked if I know of somebody who does gaming or who is a filmmaker or who does this and this and this, but who is disability identified. People want to work more with artists with disabilities because of the knowledge we have, because of the lived experience we have, and because of the value we have. And so we created this artist directory as a way for, because I don't know, I mean, I know, people in Ontario and Toronto that I can recommend, but I don't know. I know we live in a very large country and there's many of you out there. So we started this directory so that artists can create a profile and that's where people can go and find other artists. So this is an advantage as a member, is that you can create an account and make your profile public. And you'll be on the directory. This is optional only, and you actually don't have to make your profile public. You can remain private if you don't want to be on the directory. And then we also have a private Slack community. And this is a space where our members can log in to Slack and connect with each other, post any announcements of what they're working on, any projects that they're working on, or any opportunities that they've heard of. They can ask questions, you can share resources, that kind of thing. And it's also a space where our team can more immediately communicate with our members. Say it happens a lot. Alexa, who is our communications person, will find out about a really good opportunity, and it's happening tomorrow. And by the time we put out a newsletter, it'll already have happened. So we use the Slack space as a way of making that announcement so people know about it like today, not next Friday. And on the screen, there's a screenshot of what that Slack, what a Slack thread might look like on your phone. It's also we also use it on our desktop as well, so it's not required only on the mobile. This is just an example. And then if you're here and you're like, oh my God, I don't know anything about Slack, and I find the idea of joining Slack totally overwhelming and like, just challenging. We are actually having a workshop on how to join Slack, like our community. It's a deaf-led workshop for both deaf and hard of hearing and hearing folks. Really just to join us and to learn about what Slack is and what kinds of features are available to you on it. And just examples of how you can use it to help your own work or to connect with others. And then lastly, one thing that we really try to do throughout the year, and it's always pending funding, of course, is we try to put out programming and workshops. And so for our members. So as a member, you can access all of these workshops for free, and learn skills from other artists in the community. And this is an example on the screen. There's a promo image for a workshop that one of our artists ran last year called Collage from Bed. And the workshop was essentially just how can you create paper collage from your bed. And Harmeet Rahal facilitated that. It was really cool. So what is coming up? So another thing that's this year related to programming, we're currently in the midst of designing a workshop series for the fall, and it's going to be focusing on creative business skills. So I can't reveal a lot right now, except to say that, topics will hopefully range from for example, how might you sell your artwork or your crafts or anything that you're making online? Or how might you do that at an arts market? We're looking at doing a workshop on financial literacy from a disability lens, to maybe finding an agent to represent disability talent. For those of you who might be here and who might be really interested in stepping into the TV and media industry. So maybe I will pause there before I'll talk a bit about how you might join, or not how you might, but how you can get involved and become a member. But maybe I'll pause and invite, I guess, anyone to ask any questions if anything is like so far unclear. I'll just pause for a minute, see, and you can use the chat or I don't know, Kara, is there a way of like all I can see are my slides, so I don't know if people are um,
I can keep an eye if anyone raises their hand or opens or turns on their video is what I'm trying to say.
or you can put it in the chat.
Yeah.
Of course, it's okay if there are no questions. That might be a good thing, I guess. That might mean I'm being clear. Well, anyway, I'll keep going, and then if you have any questions, you can put it in the chat. So, how can you join Creative Connector? Well, this is something I know it's like, well, well, whenever go to the website, but it's actually, we actually find that people are confused about how to join because we have different, I guess, tiers for different people. So we prioritize artists with disabilities. So for that reason, for all of our members who identify as a creative with a disability, the membership is free. And all you have to do is go to our website and create an account. And what that looks like is if you go to our website at creativeconnector.art, you can click on the button at the top called For Artists or the artist directory, and you'll find a big button on the right of the page that says create an account. So as a member, you want to create an account, and then once you're in there and you've created your account, you can set it to public or private. And then for everyone else, let's say for those of you who are here who really want to join, but you don't identify as a creative with a disability, you can still become a member, absolutely. And you can do that by subscribing to one of our plans. And we have different tiers for different payment plan. So you can either do a monthly or yearly membership plan. And the reason why we do this is because we really want to make this sustainable and make it free for artists with disabilities. And I'm sorry, there's like hammering. I hope you can't hear it, but there's construction happening next door, of course. And then if you are not an artist with a disability, or you don't have the means to become a member through our membership plan, you can still subscribe for free at creativeconnector.art, and you'll still get regular updates from us about what is happening and what we're doing. So I think you know, I would also invite you. You can go to creativeconnector.art, creative access, and that'll give you a bit more like instruction on how to join if it's still unclear to you. And there's also a goodie in there for anyone who signs up to one of our membership plans. So you can read about it there. So I think I'll wrap up there, and maybe like I really was hoping that people might be inspired to actually share their own story or their own understanding of creative access. I would love to go back to that question and invite people to share their thoughts about that if they want. Does anybody
Like, I
want?
can go ahead
Yeah.
and say quickly.
Yeah.
So I did put it in the chat, but for me, it's about, and sorry, I just was at the dentist this morning, so I got like half my mouth working, so my apologies. But for me, it's about being flexible. It's about meeting people where they are and just really committing to finding creative ways to include people and also making sure that people's experiences are comparable. So to what, say, an able-bodied person would experience, to make sure that the blind experience is just as engaging, the deaf experience, and all of that.
Love it. Yeah. Does anybody else have any thoughts or ideas or questions? Or Sean says in the chat, I have mixed feelings where art and madness have been conflate. Conflate? I'm not sure I know what that means. Oh, conflated, sorry. Yeah. I have mixed feelings where art and madness have been conflated. So it has been a source of personal joy and also abuse / stigma. Wow, that is definitely a conflicting experience. But I am rising above, Sean says. Thank you, Sean. Anybody else? Anybody have any questions about Creative Connector, or even like if say after today you're like, nah, I'm not interested. I would love to know. I mean, I hope this doesn't sound like a pitch or what I've been doing is a pitch, but I would love to know, I'd love to hear your feedback as to why. Like, what is it? What do you think is unappealing about it? Or, I mean, apart from the remote, I know we're all exhausted about the remote thing, right? So yeah, if you have any thoughts on that, yeah, Janelle, you just
I just
suddenly
had
popped up.
that. Just a quick comment that thank you for creating this, because it's something that I use all the time in my position as an ED when I'm sharing information about accessible events and the stuff that are going on. It's like just such a great resource to see what's happening across the country with our peers. So I was so excited when this started, and yeah, just keep doing the good work. It's great to have this.
Oh, good. Thank you, Janelle.
I'm not sick of remote at all.
Oh, yeah?
Well, it's as someone who's a spoonie with a chronic illness, that's like I can't meet people out of my home lots of times. or for job opportunities. So the remote is like what a change that has been in the past few years for me to find opportunity.
Yeah, yeah, thank you, Ansley. Yeah. Are you currently a member, or do you think?
No, I've never heard of it, but I'm gonna sign up now.
Oh, great, great. Yeah, and actually we do get a lot, we do find many opportunities that are online, right? So that's actually another reason why we started this, is because the pandemic happened and everything went online, right? So then it was like, once we started, really, that was all of our content was online opportunities. We were like, how do we don't want them to go away, right? After we don't want to go back to before. Um, and so how do we keep finding those and generating them? So Sean says, community is so important. The solitude is something that is a barrier. I am very excited also. That's great. He also says, remote works for me too. It has been a godsend to connect with new communities and people. And Sarah, you say, do you have listings for community events? Yes. So I might have explained it kind of poorly, but so every Friday we send out a listing for opportunities, and then the following Friday we send out a listing of events. And both opportunities and events we find happening all over the country. So it's not just one area.
I have a question about what kind of feedback are you receiving from folks as being kind of some of the most beneficial parts about being part of the Creative Connector?
Very good question, and that was something I wish I had remembered to include in this. So a few of the feedback that really has stuck out in my mind, that kind of keeps me getting up in the morning and doing this work is one person wrote an email saying the connector is working. I'm already getting emails from people asking about my work, right? And this is from them being on the directory, right? Another person said that they found their agent because of the directory. Another person wrote an email saying that before the newsletter, they had no idea where to find accessible stuff happening, and now they get it every Friday, and so they're basically saying, without this, I wouldn't know where to go, right? And that's real. I mean, that's another thing that gets me up in the morning, is because, this information about access is happening. There's an incredible amount of work happening all over the world, and everyone, all of us are doing that work. The problem is that it gets buried, right, in the noise of like social media and internet, the web, and it's it's kind of hard to find that information. If you go to a website, it's usually sort of tucked in somewhere in the footer, maybe, I don't know. So that was something we really wanted, a problem we wanted to solve. It's like, how do we really make that information first and foremost a priority, and like center that kind of practice. I'm trying to think of another, there's a few other feedback testimonials from people. if you know, if you go to our Slack space, you can kind of get a sense of how people are using it, you know, and there's a lot of like support. So we've had people go on there asking about like not even necessarily anything related to art. It could be like related to affordable housing, or like one person was asking about housing, how to find housing that was accommodating for their sensory like needs, right? Which is a huge challenge. So it's been really exciting to see people using it to like reach out and ask those questions. And I think the more people we get on there from our community, my hope is that the more of that activity will happen. Sean says, this sounds really great. Thank you. Can't wait to join. Thank you, Sean. I can't wait to see you there. And Sarah says, this looks useful. Thank you. Thank you.
Any other questions or comments? If there's nothing else, I'd like to say thank you, Lindsay, for being here and sharing with us. This has been really
Thank you.
informative, and clearly people have gained a lot of knowledge here. So I'm really glad that you were able to join us today and share this.
Thank you. And Kara, I'm happy to send you the slideshow or deck if you want to share that with anyone too.
That would be great.
Yeah.
That would be perfect. Yeah.
Yeah.
For anyone who wasn't able to join us today, that would be helpful, and anyone who needs to look it over as well.
Great. I hope it's cool where all of you are, or ish, coolish. Chanel's holding up a pink object that looks
My little
very...
fan, Becky.
What is it?
The little electric fan.
Oh, okay. I didn't see the fan part. I just saw like the pink part, which doesn't look. Oh, there you go. Okay. Well, thank you for having me, both Janelle and Kara. Thank you so much. And please let me know. Don't hesitate to email me if you have any questions. I'll put my email in the chat. Lindsay at Creative Connector art. Yeah. And join us. Come and hang out and Slack with us.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Lindsay.
Thank you, Janelle.
Thank you. I hope everyone has
Have
a
a
great
great day,
rest of your
everybody.
day. And stay tuned for some more creative accessibility workshops in the fall.